Hi everyone. In my last video, I talked about 10 things that I am not spending money on in 2026. And this follow-up is going to be 6 things that I am choosing to spend my money on in 2026. This obviously isn't everything that I'm going to be spending money on this year. I have expenses and different things that I don't typically have issues with in terms of spending. So those things, normal course, my budget line items, those are all going to stay the same. But these 6 things are items that I want to allow myself to spend money on in 2026 and potentially prioritize depending on what they are. So let's get into it. Number one, this aligns with one of the items in my things I will not buy, trendy clothes, particularly clothes that have plastic in them. I'm trying to avoid polyester and plastic in my clothing as well as other parts of my life. So I am prioritizing if I'm going to buy clothing, I'm going to buy natural fiber clothing and ideally secondhand. I have a lot of amazing thrift shops in my area that I've recently discovered that have really great, sometimes vintage, sometimes not vintage, natural fiber clothes, a lot of Brooks Brothers, J. Crew, a bunch of cashmere, just like really awesome brands and quality pieces for a really great price. And while I'm not going to limit myself to secondhand items during 2026, I found that a lot of even the nice brands that you would associate with quality and the higher price tags often use just as much, if not more, plastic in their clothes. So as much as I've gotten into the habit of looking at tags and reading product descriptions and making sure that new items are polyester free, it's a lot easier to do that in the thrift just because you can tell how old pieces are and when polyester became popular in some of these more mainstream and higher end brands. So natural fiber clothes is a big one for me. Right now, that means that I'm buying a lot of sweaters. So a lot of cashmere, a lot of wool, and a lot of cotton. And then when we get into the spring and summer, it's going to be more cotton as well as linen and potentially silks. I've found a couple really great silk pieces already at my local thrift. Also aligned with some of the items that I said I wasn't going to be purchasing in 2026, I want to focus on, no surprise, probably getting plastic out of my life in the kitchen. So focusing on stainless steel kitchenware and utensils, as well as glass drinkware and flatware. I think I mentioned in my other video, I think I said aluminum, definitely meant stainless steel, like the Stanley cups. I have a couple of those that I drink my coffee in every morning, and I'm just gonna prioritize things like that. I don't need any more of those, but I definitely have a lot of plastic that I drink out of while I'm in the house. So working on finding some glass or potentially stainless steel alternatives or maybe ceramic for that. Number 3, in 2026, I'm really prioritizing getting back in touch with myself, learning new things, trying hobbies, and I don't want my finances or my mental blocks around money to determine what I'm going to decide to do and what I'm not going to decide to pursue in 26. So I'm giving myself permission and I am setting aside money in my budget for hobbies. Some of the hobbies that I'm really looking forward to doing in 2026, skiing, I'll rent some gear. I have a ski suit and a helmet and goggles, but I don't have skis or boots. So I will rent that and then spend money on the lifts and tickets and all the things that you need to ski. I'm not a huge skier, but really excited to try. Another one is pottery. There's a really great craft center near me that does 8-week courses in various types of crafts. And they run a pottery workshop a handful of times throughout the year. So I am keeping an eye on the spring classes to see if I can get my name on a list. All of the beginning of the year classes are already full, so it sounds like other people have the same idea as me. I would love to hear any ideas for other hobbies that I should pursue in 2026. I am bringing out my old sewing machine at some point and working on a couple of textile projects. I also got a tiny little watercolor kit for Christmas, so I'll bring that out. And I'm hoping to incorporate a couple different types of workout classes throughout the year to see what I like and how I like to move my body and maybe see if there's something there for me to continue long term. Number 4 on this list, this is definitely going to be a larger expense than I've had in years past, but I really want to prioritize professional skincare. As I mentioned, I think in my other video, I have a really big insecurity around my acne on kind of the lower third of my face. I'm almost 30 years old and I've got pretty pervasive and persistent red spots on my face. So, in order to combat that, I have decided that I am going to do bi-monthly facials. So every other month I will get a facial. I got my first facial ever 6 weeks ago, and my esthetician was super helpful. She gave me really great advice, was very educational throughout the whole process. I have some tips and ideas that I've taken from her and I've already incorporated into my skincare routine. And I'm going to keep doing that. But I also, I think, need just like a little bit of a professional punch to get where I want to go. I'm hoping that once my skin gets to a place that I'm really happy with, I won't feel that tug and that need for those little cosmetic procedures and filler and all that stuff that I've been doing for a couple years on a pretty infrequent basis. But hopefully that just eliminates that desire. 2026 for me is all about building really good habits. So getting my skincare in order, starting those hobbies, these are all things that I'm hoping are going to change my everyday routine and make me a happier and healthier person. Speaking of happier and healthier, my number 5 is going to get me outside a whole lot more in the spring, summer, and fall. I am allowing more spending on outdoor garden homestead items than we have done in the past. Our goal is to build up a pretty robust garden in the next year or two. Slow and steady, but building out the infrastructure now. So we're going to build some cedar raised garden beds during this winter to plant and get ready for 2026. That's not going to be cheap. The price of lumber is pretty crazy, but I would rather do it right and do it with cedar now instead of getting like a cheap metal one on Amazon that's going to warp or doesn't really lend itself to expansion in the future. If we do these cedar boxes and we build them ourselves, then, we can do 1 or 2 to start the year. And if gardening is something that we really love, we can continue to add on as the years go by and everything will have a cohesive look and it'll be easier to maintain. Another big expense that's in the garden homestead section, our ducks need a new coop. So we are planning on building a new coop for our ducks and a bigger run for them to have more unfettered outdoor access. And that is definitely going to be a pretty big expense. But we want our animals to be happy and love living here. So it's something that we're going to do in 2026. My item number 6 is a little bit of a different one, and it's definitely not something that I've seen on a lot of these videos, but I would like to prioritize my mortgage and my husband's student loans in 2026. I was doing a little bit of math and keeping my eye on the Fed and interest rates in the news over the past handful of months. And interest rates in high yield savings accounts, CDs, and things like that are on the low side and getting lower every month, whereas our mortgage and Ryan's student loans are 6+% interest rate. So there's definitely a gap there. And my philosophy is when your high yield savings account gets you more interest than your pay in your debts, you should focus on building your savings. When that is lower than your debts, if you have a healthy amount of savings, you should shift your focus and prioritize on eliminating debt to minimize the amount of interest that you pay over the life of the loans. So for us, we passed our initial goal in our emergency fund in 2025 and then decided that we were going to add more. So we have a little bit more of a lofty goal now for our emergency fund moving forward. That said, it's not a necessity for us to build that up with a lot of haste right now because we have a pretty good fallback here for if anything were to happen with my job or with his job. So we feel comfortable with what we have right now. We're going to let that accrue interest in the high yield savings account and keep an eye on it, keep an eye on our expenses. And if we need to shift going further into 2026 back to contributing to that emergency fund, we will do. But at this point, after all of our other sinking funds are accounted for and all of our bills are accounted for, we have a little bit left over. We are going to shift and start paying additional principal payments on probably Ryan's student loans first and then our mortgage. I learned about this really cool feature that a lot of mortgages have that they don't tell you about. At my family Christmas celebration, I talked to one of Ryan's cousins who is a mortgage broker, and she let me pick her brain about all of my questions about our mortgage. My big question for her was, we have this sum of money that we've been saving, calling our refinance fund, but I was starting to get a little bit hesitant that we were making the right choice, saving it for a refi when it was only getting 3% interest, and we have our home loan that's 6.5%. So I asked her what her thoughts were on if we were making the right choice or if we should just dump that into the principal now and talk about refinancing down the road. And she told me about this really awesome feature that a lot of mortgages have that they don't want to tell you about because it loses them money. But there is this thing called a mortgage recast. And what this does is if you make a significant additional principal payment your loan, and there are different minimums for different brokers, and you pay them a fee that typically ranges from $100 to maybe $500. My mortgage was $250. What they will do is they will take that new principal amount after that additional payment you've made and recast it across the rest of your amortization period. So typically, when you make additional principal payments on your loan, if you go into kind of that user interface on the website of your loan, it will show you that you will pay off your loan early. For me, that was not really a huge priority. My biggest goal right now in my life for my finances is to bring down my monthly obligations as much as possible. So what I really wanted was to bring down my monthly payment on my mortgage. The only way I knew how to do that was through refinancing. But a recast does just that. Just like the fee is different from broker to broker, the minimum payment required to actually do a recast varies from broker to broker. Mine was $10,000 or 10% of the remaining principal balance on your loan, whichever was less. And then you just have to send them a message and they will do the work to give you essentially a new monthly payment. So instead of chopping it off the back end of the mortgage, it's splitting that savings across the rest of the life of your mortgage. I haven't gotten the response back of how much I actually am going to save a month, but we as a family have decided that makes the most sense for us, as we're the youngest that we're ever going to be today. And in theory, our earning power is the least that it will be for the rest of our lives until retirement. So we want to be able to reap this benefit now when we need the relief or when we would prefer the relief versus cutting a couple years off the mortgage in the back end when we're in essentially the prime of our earning years. So that's a really long-winded way of saying that we are going to prioritize our home and student debt in 2026. We don't have any consumer debt, and that's something that I'm really passionate about, is avoiding that like the plague. So that's really the only debt that we have to focus on. And I'm not in some sort of super rush to fully pay it off, but I definitely want to put us in a better position moving forward. And at this point, my money's not working for me in my high yield savings account or in a CD. And the market is just at an insane high right now. So I don't feel the need to really step on the gas in that perspective either. So there you have it. Those are the 6 things that I am absolutely going to spend money on in 2026. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and hit the bell to get notifications every time I upload a video. See you in the next one.